Hey, how's it going? My name is Munya. I'm a rising super senior Feb, originally from Harare, Zimbabwe, and I have the pleasure of taking you on a virtual tour. First time I've done this, and I'm super excited. So unfortunately, because of the pandemic, most of you won't be able to visit the campus this summer, and I figured this would be a great opportunity to, get to record the wonderful place I get to call home for the summer, Middlebury, Vermont, and show you a little bit around our little campus over here. Unfortunately, we won't be able to go inside any of the buildings because they are indeed closed because of the pandemic, but you'll still get a general idea of the school. So the first place I get to show you is the McCardell Bicentennial Hall. We call it Bi Hall for short. It's coming up behind me shortly. You'll see it in a sec. Bi Hall is home to all of our sciences. And so it's really awesome because each floor is dedicated to a different science, and it really allows for cross between the different subjects. There's also an observatory on the top floor and a greenhouse, which has a really cool notebook where people write little notes, stories, poems, whatever it may be. There's also a library for the sciences, the Armstrong Library. And little fun fact is Bi Hall does have the biggest windows in Vermont. As we pass Bi Hall in the background, we're gonna walk by another building, Ross Commons. Special one for me because I lived here freshman and sophomore year. Ross is also the only commons that is connected to a dining hall. You definitely see the benefits of this in winter because one little myth that exists on our campus is called the Ross Challenge. And basically what that is during January, where usually students will only take one class, the Ross Challenge states that, a student will stay the whole semester in Ross Commons, only ever leaving at the end of J term because you can take a class and you can also get all your meals there. Wouldn't recommend it because the winter time is actually just the best time to be in Middlebury. How housing usually works is right before you arrive, you'll have the opportunity to choose your first year seminar. Your first year seminar is attached to one of the commons, and so whichever one you choose will also determine where you end up in terms of your housing. Next up, we have the CCI, the Center for Careers and Internships. This is one of the best resources we have on our campus, and it's available to students for all 4 years. So if you're in your first or second year and you're still trying to figure out the kinks in your resume, this is the place to go. If you find an internship and it's unfunded and you really need funding, the CCI is the place to go. If you're a senior like me trying to figure out what's coming up next and you're kind of unsure, CCI is the place to go. Behind me is Proctor Dining Hall, one of the 3 dining halls we have on our campus. Our dining halls are open 3 times a day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And one of the awesome things about our dining halls is that all of the ingredients are labeled beforehand, so you know what's in the food before you have to eat it. My personal favorite night is General Tso's chicken night because I love it. So good. This is Mead Chapel, one of the more iconic buildings on our campus. It's also where most Middlebury students will get their first taste of Middlebury tradition at the convocation ceremony. It's also where we have a lot of our a cappella concerts and so on and so forth. One of our more iconic buildings for sure. Next up, we have the McCullough Student Center, one of the hubs of life on campus. Here is where we have our student mail center as well as 2 food options, the Crossroads Cafe, which is available for students to get different coffee type options throughout the day, as well as the Grill, which is open sort of like our on-campus fast food, if you will. It's also where Mid Express is, which is our one-stop convenience shop. And a fun little fact about the McCullough Student Center is that it actually used to be where the swimming pool and gymnasium were. Next up, we have Axon, one of our academic buildings, and a building that I am all too familiar with. Axon is where we have a lot of our humanities, as well as the film department, which is where I spend most of my time. Some fun facts about Axon is it's actually where the original Star Library was located, and so while you're walking through, you will see sections of that old library, the original library, still preserved with additional wings made with local marble built around it. Next up, we have the Davis Family Library. As you would expect, it's where a lot of students will go to, complete work, study for exams, but ours is a little different thanks to a couple of locations. The first is the Wilson Cafe. It's a cafe that's open throughout the day for students to stop by and get a little booster throughout the day. We also have the Center for Teaching, Learning, and Research, a resource available to help students academically, whether it be in a short research paper or in understanding how to learn correct work habits and so on. We also have the Wilson Media Lab, which is an awesome resource where students can go and use a number of computers we have available with all the latest software, whether it be for designing, whether it be for film editing. All of that is available for students. The final stop on our tour is the Willard House, which is where we have our admissions office. And this is where we have a great team of people who work tirelessly year in, year out to make sure that we continue to have great groups of students coming into Middlebury. And this is also where I work. Thanks again for joining me on this virtual tour. I know it doesn't quite match the experience of coming here and visiting the campus on your own, but hopefully you've been able to get a chance to see around and see the beauty that is Middlebury over the summertime. I'm gonna put my mask on and go find a swimming hole to jump into because it's a really hot day. I hope I see some of you in the fall. Take care.